I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. Hello and welcome to the next episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, the podcast where Matt and Todd go see a movie at our local Regal cinema, and then we talk about it afterwards. We sit in the parking lot, Matt and I share our thoughts, and we share our feelings, and we try to instruct you, the listener. Should you see this in theaters? Should you not see it in theaters? Is it good? Is it bad? And hopefully this helps you out in your everyday life. I am Todd Domer.
And I'm Matt Malloy. And yes, welcome to another episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies. And we are here at our local Regal Cinema Theater. And we saw a movie, and it was called Jackass Forever. This is the latest installment in the Jackass film/TV creation saga. Fourth film. And a whole MTV series back in the day. And it's been 10 years since the last film, which I haven't seen. But you have.
I have.
Todd's seen them all.
I definitely have.
I've seen none. This was my first experience ever watching a Jackass film or the TV show.
Oh.
So.
Interesting. This must have been an interesting experience for you.
Yes. Yes, it was. So who's in this? Well, I guess Johnny Knoxville is in it and is a famous person. PK Subban,
That's true, yeah. PK Subban is in this.
The hockey player is in this, doing a hockey-related stunt.
The fastest softball pitcher in the world is in this.
Right.
I don't know her name.
I don't think she's famous.
Oh, that's
she's not
fair.
going on the list.
Stricken. Take her off the list.
Eric, what's his name, is in this?
Oh gosh. Eric Andre.
Yes.
Yes.
And I would say that's it.
Yes.
Really.
As far as your famous people, I would say that's it. But it still has many of the famous Jackass people. Chris Pontius, Steve-O, Dave England, Wee Man, Preston, along with some new cast members.
Right.
And some people who didn't, well, I think were in the movie but got stricken out of the movie for drug-related things. Like Bam Margera, who's a pretty, he had his own show at some point. I don't know where that rates him in celebrity, but apparently he filmed a whole bunch of stuff for this. And he fell off the wagon and got back in the drugs, and they wanted him to go to rehab, and he said no, and they said, all right, we're pulling you from the movie.
Wow. There's a little backstory.
There you go, yeah.
A little nugget
and
of
then
truth.
An homage to Ryan Dunn at the end, who was a cast member who died in a car accident.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Well,
now you're caught up.
Thanks for that. So what's this movie about? Well, it's really just a series of like stunts and jokes and tricks that are of an extreme nature, we'll say. You know, things that could get you really hurt, and people do get hurt in this. You see them later in slings and bloodied and so on and so forth. And if I would say there's a theme to it, I would say the theme is penis-related humor and stunts that harm penises.
Yes, yeah. Well, and this will all go into my review when we talk about it, but this is by far the most heaviest of anything they've done of penis-related things. Where, like in the other movies, there might have been like a penis shot here and there or whatever, but this movie really hovered on that region for a lot of their stunts.
Yes. So I mean, that's what the movie is. It's basically the series of stunts and tricks and like probably some throwback stuff to other movies that I haven't watched, but I haven't watched them, so.
Not like the other movies that have come out recently that, like, because Eric Andre did a movie that was like Bad Trip or whatever. Remember that? Where it was like, but it had a story. It was telling a story with scripted stunts.
Right.
That's not how Jackass rolls. It's just random stunts.
Yeah.
And you just are along for the ride.
Right. So that's what it's about. And that's who's in it. Todd, a Jackass fan. What did you think of this movie?
I'm kind of disgusted with myself watching this movie because I had a smile on my face the whole time.
Oh dear!
During this movie, and it just okay. There's some backstory. This is so. I mean, I watched the show when it came out, and I watched it with some close friends, and then we watched the movies together, and there was a time where we were doing stuff like this, not to the extreme that they were doing, but so honestly, when they announced the movie was coming out and stuff, I mean, I knew I was going to see it. It's like so much of my past is wrapped up in these stupid people doing their stupid stunts. And darn it, I don't know what this says about me, but it still got me to laugh several times. I don't know. I can't even begin to tell you if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, I guess it just is. So, this is by far, I think, the weirdest movie we've had to rate. Because as a movie, like as a movie, it's not even a movie. It's just incoherent mess. It's just, skit after skit after skit. Like, it doesn't tell a story. It doesn't rely on acting. It doesn't rely on really many of the things that we typically grade on. Mm-hmm. It just is. Which, part of that to me is a little refreshing. Like going into a movie where I was like, I'm not going to hate the story because I know there is no story. Like, I'm just watching dudes and ladies trying their best to make people laugh in the most extreme ways that they can think of. Whether or not those ways are disgusting or not is left up to interpretation, I would say. So, if you've seen any of the Jackass movies or the show, you know what you're getting into. Like, they didn't reinvent the wheel here. Unless reinventing the wheel means that they stapled a penis on the wheel, because darn it, there's so much penis stuff in this movie. Just a tremendous amount.
And testicles.
And testicles,
fair,
yes.
testicles
The
are,
whole region is shown a lot.
Yes.
And I guess that was a little surprising to me, because they didn't go that hard in those areas in past movies, at least not in my opinion. But man, they went... If the expression is they went hard in the paint, they went hard in the taint this time. So,
Todd.
But did I enjoy myself? Yeah. I'm disgusted that I say that, but yeah, I did. I was slightly giggling to myself or smiling the whole movie. If you've laughed at these things and you wanted to see a movie like this is just go see it. Like, I don't know if you're going to be like me, where you come out and be like, I don't know how I feel about myself now, or maybe you'll just go and laugh the whole time. It was not a packed theater, but it seemed like most people in there were laughing and enjoying themselves. Not Matt, though. I heard a lot of sighs. And,
let me tell my own story, Todd.
So, not talking, without being able to talk about the acting and all that kind of stuff, what is there really to judge this movie on? I giggled and I smiled for most of the film. There were extreme stunts that I felt uncomfortable during because of the inability for the person to get out of the stunt until someone freed them. That was a little uncomfortable. But on the flip side of that, it's not like these people didn't know what they were getting into. Like, you know what's happening with these movies. It's, this is the fourth one and a TV show and a cultural phenomenon. And honestly, like Jackass and these people, to me really are huge influencers of YouTube and what people do now. I mean, it's kind of crazy that, 23, 24, 25 years ago when they started doing this kind of stuff of just not even had a show, they just were showing clips of what they did, and how that's such a normal thing nowadays. Like, it's just such a norm, and this is one of the innovators of that. So I guess for nostalgia's sake, I liked seeing people come back and do what they do, I guess, best. I don't know what else they do in their lives. I know Knoxville's been in some movies. I think he's a pretty fine actor. But, yeah. And if there's a fifth one, I'll be there. That's all I could really say. If you like Jackass movies or the show and this is up your alley, then yes, go see this in the theaters. Enjoy yourself. Let yourself laugh at stuff. Maybe you'll leave guilt-free, unlike me. I don't know. But have a fun time. Why not? Like, it's only like an hour and a half. Have a fun time. If you've never seen anything like this and you're like, Matt, maybe this isn't the best introductory. But, because there's so much history going into this movie. But I'm going to stop talking. I'm either sounding like a genius right now or I'm burying myself. I don't know. So, Matt, how did you feel tell me about the size, Matt. Tell me about the size.
The size with a G.
Yeah.
So you say this movie was only an hour and a half, and I say that was the longest hour and a half of my life. Oh dear. This movie was uncomfortable, for sure, for the reasons you mentioned. And I feel like at points in my life I've said, I really like physical comedy. And maybe I don't, or maybe this just wasn't the right kind of physical comedy for me.
Yes, I guess theoretically you could classify this under physical comedy, but like physical comedy to me is like Chris Farley. Like, this stuff is more like I'm seeing a person in genuine pain.
Right.
I come from the generation, I think, that we are okay with that and we were used to that. And, it might not be so okay nowadays, but, so much of my youth is wrapped up in, doing random things to random people to get a laugh or to hurt them slightly. I mean, that it's just not uncommon for my youth. It doesn't really exist anymore.
Well, I'm going to say that I didn't really connect with this movie. I wanted this movie to be over. It was pretty uncomfortable. I didn't laugh a lot. I didn't laugh. I think I laughed once. There was one funny thing. I can't remember what it was, but I did notice myself chuckling once. The other problem that I have with this movie is that it's been coming out for a long time. Like, I think we first saw a trailer 2 years ago.
Really? You think so?
I think so.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I know there was a long time. I mean, like...
Yeah.
Because I know the running joke for a while was that we would see the trailer in the theater, and it just kept being pushed back. And
right.
I would show visible frustration in the theater, much like seeing anything to do with the Top Gun sequel.
Right.
Frustrates me because I'm like, just put it out already. It's done.
Yeah.
But yes, this movie did fall into that category for a while.
It did. And the problem with that is that we saw previews for it for a long time. And the problem with that is that a lot of the content from the movie was featured almost verbatim in the trailer itself.
Yes.
Like, they showed stunts. They showed the outcome of the stunts. They showed stuff. And so I would say probably 5, 6, 7 stunts I felt like I'd already seen.
Yes.
Because of seeing the trailer so many times.
The trailer was definitely a highlight reel.
Yes.
And they did choose what I think what they thought were the best outcome or the funniest or however they chose the best they could to put in the trailer. So that when that happens, then you're watching the movie and you're like, well, I've seen the best stuff at this point.
Right.
Like,
yes. I did feel like I'd seen the best stuff.
well, yeah,
best
okay,
in quotations.
Best in quotation.
I mean, I do think it was the best of what they put out there. I just didn't really like any of it, what they put out there. There's also this sort of subtext of like dude bro culture that's kind of going on here with like, I don't know. Maybe that's a stretch, but I don't know. Maybe I should not talk about that right now because I don't have a clear thing to say about it. Instead, I'll say I didn't like this movie.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong in a sense of I think this is the dude bro culture guys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
No, I think there's plenty of commentary on that, like whether or not that's good or bad or whatever. I mean, that's open to everyone's interpretation. Is it bad because they haven't really? Doesn't seem like they've grown over the past 10 years since the last movie, or matured in anything. I mean, I guess that's bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the movie. I don't think anyone should see it. No, that's not true. If you liked other Jackass things, you will like this. And you should watch it. And you'll enjoy it. And have a good time. I will not watch other Jackass things. Unless there's another movie that we have to review. Because Todd will want to see it. And that's fine. That's fine.
Yes. You enjoy the slasher horror movies.
Yes.
Me, not so much.
Right.
But this is a give and take relationship podcast that we're in.
It is. I'm willing to see any movie with you, Todd. I'll say that right now. Any movie.
I mean, in theaters.
Sure.
Or just any movie, period.
I for the podcast, we try and go to the theaters. So
enough.
We'll say that. If there's something that makes you think of that's not in theaters, we can talk
I'm
about
just trying to understand the parameters of this relationship.
Well, I'm willing to see any movie with you that comes out in theaters.
All right.
If you want to see something else, we can talk about it. I'm still open
Case by
to it.
case basis.
Case by case basis. I can't just agree to anything, Todd. Come on.
Oh man.
Well, anyway, yeah. So it's gonna be a bad score from me. Just prepping you for that.
Prepping everything.
Yeah.
Well, Matt. All right. How many? I'm trying to think of what my favorite thing that happened in this movie to base the rating off of, and it's hard because the things that I liked a lot, people got hurt. I feel bad.
My favorite thing was the bull flip.
That's what I was gonna say. That's where I was at. How many bull flips would you give this movie? 0 being the worst because then nothing's happening.
Right.
5 being the best, then someone's being flipped by a bull 5 times. Which, if it brought us enjoyment once, maybe by the time the 5th one rolls around, we'll be done. But who knows? I might still be laughing pretty hard.
You probably would be. And I enjoyed that stunt. That was probably my favorite stunt.
And the person probably got the most hurt in the whole movie during that stunt.
So it's good that you brought like one of the not bad moments from the movie to mind as I'm conjuring
that
up
definitely
my
was
score.
a conscious decision because I was like, okay, I cannot make a rating system based off of anything with a penis because we're just pretty. I think we're both pretty penised out at this point.
Yeah, we've had a heavy dose tonight. Well, when I think about the worst movie that we've ever watched together, I think my mind goes to Cats.
I think our rating system and everything would guide that. I mean, I think Cat's got a 0.1 from me. That's pretty close to the worst score you could possibly give.
It is. We could give a 0, but I don't see that ever happening. But as I'm I'm thinking through like the experience that I had and how I felt after I watched Cats and how I felt after I watched this movie. Oh, I'm going to say that I didn't feel as bad as when people were actually laughing during the movie at the movie that we were watching when we were watching Cats. I don't feel that bad after this.
Okay.
So we got that going.
Because they were laughing at what they were supposed to be laughing at. Cats was just everyone was laughing because of how bad it was.
They were laughing at the costumes and the dialogue and the sets. Yeah, they were laughing at everything. As they should have been.
Yeah.
So it's better than that, but is it good? No. Is it even okay for me? No. I'm going to go... this is going to be a sub 1 score. This is going to be... I'm going to go... Because we had the bull flip, I'm not going to go too far down the well. I'm going to go with a 0.8
okay.
Bull flips out of 5 for this. And not recommend you watch it. Todd?
Sorry. I feel like I got to be pretty true to myself. So
you have to. You have to go with your gut reaction. That's what we're about. That's what we're all about, Todd.
True.
Gut reaction.
So this is not the best Jackass movie, for sure, in my opinion. I think they went way too hard with male genitalia. It's almost like one of those things where when it was used in the past, like once or twice, you could laugh, like whatever. But it's like they went to the well way too many times in this. Some of the stunts were like super elaborate. Some of them were super not. Some of them were funny. Some of them were not. So I'm just going to say the number, and I don't even know if I can justify the number, but I'm just going to say it. This is where my heart is right now. I'm going to give it a 2.8. It's certainly not the best Jackass movie out there, but if this stuff makes you laugh, you will laugh when you see this. If this stuff doesn't make you laugh, then you will feel pretty uncomfortable. So the fact that I had a smile on my face the whole time, and I did have some good laugh moments to myself, I gotta give it like a 2.8. It's certainly not good. It's just kind of it's there, and it is what it is. Either you're gonna resonate with it or you're not. That is, you know.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Okay. Well, you're either gonna resonate with it like Todd, or you're not gonna resonate with it like me. And we end up with an aggregate score of 1.8 bull flips out of 5, which is not great.
No.
But again, if you like
Jackass, it seems appropriate. I think it's an appropriate place for how I feel about this stuff and how you feel about it. Yes. I think that's an appropriate rating. And according to the census of the car right now, you will enjoy the bull flip.
You will.
So
you will enjoy the bull flip. It comes near the end.
Unfortunately, it's in the trailer. So.
It is in the trailer.
So you've probably seen it at this point.
Yes.
You just don't really know the aftermath of it.
Right. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, where we reviewed the movie Jackass Forever. And I've already given you the average rating, but I will say thank you to all of our fans. Thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading, for clicking, and listening to this.
And commenting.
On our Facebook page. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next time.
Da 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 da.